Adios, Radisson.
Beautiful love. Beautiful love.
One final detail. Vanessa with Isabella. Vanessa is now emerging from the Radisson, having dealt with all the issues of the morning. About to say adios a Concon. Vanessa and I walked down here only once to this part of town. Hasta la vista, Concon.
Oh, and it's written on that? Oh.
No, it's not.
Wait, is that?
In Chile, when you gas up, an attendant always takes care of you. So basically, you can stick with the car.
Hola. Hi.
Kathy?
Yes.
So we are on our way to where?
We are going to the Valle de Elqui. That's a valley where you can see the stars like in no other place in Chile.
Through an area where there's an awful lot of refineries. And Kathy was just telling us that there are environmental issues coming out of all of these refineries. So did you want to say?
Yeah, so since there's so many of these factories around here, people are complaining because there's already been people that have been intoxicated. So that's a really bad issue these days.
As we proceed north away from the industrial area, we're seeing quite an improvement in the environment, fewer houses. As Kathy mentioned earlier, eventually we're going to end up at the very privileged area along the coast where folks of wealth from Santiago will often helicopter in for brief vacations. The town ahead of us, Edison was reporting, is called Pechawa. With the Sapudo ahead.
Eso es de los helicópteros.
We had learned that just yesterday, Kathy Edison came up to this very town. He was working on some refrigeration units. There was a problem with the cooling of the lower unit, the refrigerator, but the freezer was working. And there was a problem with some of the programming on another refrigerator he had to do. So it prompted us to start talking a little bit about Edison's career, where he got these various diverse skills from. So here we go. You're going to tell us now a little brief history of where Edison got all these excellent skills from?
Ya, ok. Desde niño siempre fui muy curioso.
He has always been really curious since he was a boy.
Desarmaba mis juguetes, después no podía armarlos.
Well, all his toys, he would tear apart, like to figure out how they work and everything.
Al final terminaba armando otras cosas con el juguete. No sé.
Well, and in the end, he would not put together that toy, but something else with that. So he has always been.
So a bit of engineering by.
Claro.
Yeah.
Mi padre era marino.
Yeah, his dad was at the Marine.
En casa había orden, pero
There were lots of orders.
mi cabeza quería más.
But his head wanted more. His brain wanted more.
Desde niño buscaba yo qué hacer. Hacía volantines, ¿cómo le llaman?
Yeah,
Papalote.
So, yeah, he constructed these things you kids always play with in the wind, like those
Kites?
Yes, kites. Yes,
¿Ya?
yes.
Y los vendía en casa a los vecinos.
And you sold them to the neighbors.
Sí.
Ya. Y empiezo a ganar dinero, entonces trabajé, mira,
Oh, and tú también los pinchos de la ropa.
también. Los
That's
hacía.
something. Can I? ¿Puedo?
Sí, no,
Something he told me that really surprised me. When you hang out to dry clothes, those things.
Clotheslines and clothespins.
Yes.
See.
When they break, no one fixes them because no one knows how to do it.
Oh, with a little spring on it.
Yes,
See.
and he would fix them and put out a sign out of his house, I fix those things.
I fix
and
clothespins.
neighbors would come by and bring them to him. As a kid.
Con 12 años cuidaba, cuando había fútbol, soccer en el estadio, cuidaba los autos. Y ahí ganaba dinero.
When he was 12, he was taking care of cars when there were big football games and stuff. When he was 12, already earning money doing that.
Trabajé en un circo.
And then he was working in a circus.
Trabajé en
I didn't know that. No sabía eso.
Trabajé en un centro de juegos mecánicos. ¿Cómo se llama ese? ¿Fantasilandia?
Well, yeah, he also worked in a
feria,
where there's roller coasters and that kind of stuff.
Oh, mecánico.
Mecánico.
Mecánico. Sí. So basically, you have no fear of anything.
No tienes miedo de nada.
Any kind of device or piece of equipment, you just walk right up, you figure out how it works, and you repair it.
Tú andas allá y intentas solucionarlo.
Sí, siempre hay una solución.
Especialmente talento. Para equipaje. Sí. Bueno.
And next we're going to talk about Catarina's life and how she came to, she has language skills.
Yeah. Well, unlike...
There's 5 languages, correct?
Right, yeah. Well, unlike Eddie, my way was pretty straight. Like, I finished school, I started to study, I finished my studies, which was communication science. I was working in a tourism company that creates websites. And
in Germany?
In Austria.
In Austria?
Yes. And then I decided to travel. I quit my job, I had finished my studies, and I started traveling. I had money for 1 year, and I met him.
Well, tell us the languages.
Yes, so the languages have always been my passion, but then since I met him, I needed to come up with a plan, what to do, because I didn't want to go back, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to become a translator, because that basically has always been my dream. So I started that, and after like maybe 1 year, I got there where I could say, okay, now I have clients and I have the skills and everything. That's how I started.
So we know you speak English?
English, Spanish, German of course, French. My French is not fluent, like my English or Spanish. It's all in the back of my head since I never use it, but it's there. And I'm starting Portuguese. And I'm already understanding 80% of people when they're talking Portuguese.
So with Portuguese,
that's close to Italian.
It's close to Spanish also.
So with Portuguese, you cover all of Latin America.
Yeah.
Once you learn Portuguese, because they speak that in Brazil.
Yes, that's where I learned it, or where I started to learn.
Very
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Well, turnabout is fair play. Edison has given a brief summary of his diverse and many skills and interests, and Kathy has done so with her language background. My background is also quite self-learned, autodidactica. I like to learn things, but unlike Eddie, I don't like to get my hands involved. I like to learn things in my mind. I like to map out connections between ideas. The best classes I ever took in college, which I did not get a bachelor's degree, I got an associate's degree, were in the history of philosophy. Philosophy for me is making connections between all kinds of ideas, fitting them together until you have a total worldview of how things work. But in terms of a career, I did go into the Air Force. I studied electronics. I had a career later than that in technology, automation, robotics. I became a technical instructor. I developed all my own classwork. I presented classes to students from all over the world, from Germany, Taiwan, Korea, Israel, on technical equipment used in the semiconductor industry. That's where I developed a concept of what I call technical systems analysis, the ability to figure out how anything works. But I also went into understanding how all kinds of systems work. social systems, environmental systems. Everything in the universe connects with everything else. And all you have to do is explore the connections and you can get a view of the world that's incredibly comprehensive. The problem is you may not know all the facts, you may not know all the details, but those are the concrete, factual notions. But this map in your mind, which I call a holographic perception of the universe, is essential first. It's better to know a little bit about everything than a whole lot about just one thing. Has always been my philosophy. Of course, now I'm a musician. I've taught myself guitar, taught myself piano, taught myself to sing, taught myself how to write and read music. And I believe the most powerful tool you could ever develop is the ability to teach yourself something. Because when you teach yourself something, you have to work on two levels at the same time. You have to be the teacher and you have to be the student.
We're now about to enter into what we might consider the more first world wealthy aspect of the coast here again. Just like Vina del Mar was very upscale, we're now entering into an upscale region. But you'll notice right off, this is very rural. We don't have many condos populating the hillsides. What we have here are solitary homes of value that people come to get away from all the craziness associated with the city. For instance, this place up on the hillside here.
It's really beautiful here.
Oh, we can see that.
I fell in love yesterday with Papuro.
Oh,
Because it's so silent, it's so quiet. I mean, it's still not summertime, so not a lot of people are here. Maybe that's why. But it has a flair.
oh, it certainly does.
So,
Beautiful charm. Oh no, now we got the condos again. And my experiences so far is the condos that destroy things.
yes.
As soon as you start having all these condos, you lose that elegance, that simplicity.
But imagine they're not here.
They're oh boy, yeah. But you can see why the condos are here, because it's so beautiful.
Yes. It is. It's really beautiful.
We're gonna stop here at this trendy lugares for empanadas, because we hear from Kathy and Edison that they are excellent. This is La Playa Papudo. We're just looking at some of the wonderful architecture along here. Ah, see. And then there's a nice little view up this valley. You can see the mountains in the distance. Layer after layer of the mountains. Coastal region though. About to exit Paduro.
Papuro.
Papuro. Papudo. Papudo.
Very good, Vanessa.
Papudo. And here we're finally coming out towards the limits of the town. Muy bonita Puebla. Now traveling through a very rural area. There's not a single edificio out here. No buildings, no structures, except for a few cell towers up in the distance. Vanessa's noticing cattle, so these are ranches. And we're on our way still towards the main highway. The highway will take us all the way up to La Serena, correct?
Yes.
Once we get on it?
La Serena, Los Pinos, Concon, Valle del Elqui.
We're now about to enter the actual highway that will lead us up north. Very much like a highway anywhere you'll find the United States or Canada. In fact, you'll notice for this whole time we have been driving on the right-hand side of the road, which is very helpful for those who are from out of country. I just learned that this is the Pan American Highway. It runs all the way up Del Norte, all the way down to the tip of Chile.
Yes, and then Peru and all the way up to Alaska.
Okay, anyway, I understand the only place where there's problems is Guatemala. There's some issues there. And it's largely because the rule of law doesn't seem to apply in some of the states as well as it does here in Chile.
Well, the issue is because in Colombia, it's all rainforest. that there's no roads,
Oh!
so you have to go in a boat.
Passing by a beach town, just off the highway. Not sure how often we'll get close to the ocean here as we travel on this main highway, Route 5. But there'll probably be other opportunities to see the coast from the highway as well. Is why the roads are in good shape here along the Pan American in Chile. Every 50 kilometers or so, you pay, in this case, 3,100 pesos, which is roughly about $5. We're starting to see more in the way of actual mountains rather than hills around here. So this must be the coastal range. We're seeing terrain here that's very reminiscent of the American Southwest. Of course, the grasses in verdure looks more like the coast of California. Drive along, you'll notice the mountains are quite close to the coast here. It's well elevated. And I recall watching a YouTube video that basically said that in the future, and it was quoted from a CIA document, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but basically this entire coastline of Chile, and because it's elevated, it's well above tsunami range and global warming, within the next 10 to 20 years we'll be completely overwhelmed with Americanos coming down from the east coast of the United States, because weather damage and the low-lying areas there will be so damaged that people eventually won't be able to rebuild, so they'll have to move elsewhere in order to live along the coasts.
I would say it's not any safer here because there's earthquakes every single day in Chile. They only register the ones that are up 3.0, and it's like between 10 and 15, well, around 10 earthquakes a day. But the thing is, Eddie just said that people here know how to construct buildings, so nothing falls apart here, even with strong earthquakes.
As we travel further north, it's definitely getting drier, muy seco. We're beginning to see lots of cactus flying by here as I look out the windows. The area is very similar to parts of Arizona. They probably don't get much more rain. The big difference between this and the Sonora Desert is the Sonora Desert is browner, doesn't have as much grass and verdure, but the variety of different kinds of cactus in the Sonora Desert is much greater than what we're seeing around here. We have another toll station. We've probably been driving for about an hour, would you say, before we hit the second toll station?
Probably, yeah.
See, probably one of the most important words in all languages, and that has to do with cuentos are basically stories, and having learned that wonderful word, we're going to find out what Vanessa's short story is.
Es el cuento de Vanessa.
Ah, bueno. En inglés, por favor. Inglés. O francés? O alemán?
Sí. Nací en France. Praga.
Vanessa was born in France.
Paris.
After you were born, stuff happened, right? Los cuentos.
Sí, yes. We went to Africa, Morocco, and then we ended up going to the Estados Unidos, and Iran,
See?
and Britannia. So I've always been interested in languages, people, human nature. So I made a study of that. And that's why now I like to make documentaries.
So you studied psychology in
I
college?
studied psychology because I was interested in human nature, particularly about children. So I studied child psychology.
And so you were able to use some of that because you were a teacher for a number of years.
Well, a teacher's aide, yes.
Teacher's aide.
I enjoyed working with children in the schools. But I didn't like how they
Formalized institutional
the
education.
education's true.
We've often talked about how beautiful it would be as if every neighborhood had their own
One room
schoolhouse with a teacher and an aide.
Right, and
They-
the children helping each other in the classroom.
So the teachers teach the older children, the older children teach the younger children, and the teachers make sure the younger children got it right from the older.
And that's one thing I love about Chile. I noticed that even when we went to that museum,
Museo Funk, see?
the Folk Museum in Valle, there were middle school kids there. And they were just running around and playing, and we didn't notice that anyone was standing over them. And they came and they were able to ask us all kinds of questions.
Oh yeah, I
and,
know. I was over there
and-
pontificating about that boy, and the kids loved it.
Well, and then they wanted us to, they could say whatever they wanted. So they said, we want to see you kiss.
Well, I'm always willing to oblige on that one.
Yes, but the point was that there is just a freedom with children down here that
So we began this little discussion with Los Cuentas, and now you tell Los Cuentas using videography, right?
see.
That we've got some windmills in this area right here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're climbing up towards a pass because they usually just put windmills
Pero viene.
where the wind is blowing strongest, which was up at the passes to funnel the air. But as I understand it, Kathy, there's not a lot of sustainable energy or just not a lot of solar energy here in Chile.
No, but it's in the coming.
We're now entering a part of the desert. I would definitely call this desert because we have lots of cacti and there's no verdure. There's no grasses anymore between the plants. Now we're finally descending down closer to the coast. You can see the ocean off in the distance.
Coquimbo.
Yes, we're entering Coquimbo.
You said this is the fourth region
Yes.
of Chile.
Yes, and it's the capital of the fourth region. And it's right next to La Serena.
So that's not La Serena straight ahead.
No. That's Coquimbo.
See?
Can we see La Serena also already?
Oh, I see it on the far side of the bay.
Yeah.
Serena. Valle, Elqui.
Yeah, and the valley is over there.
Okay, so off to the right, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here on what I consider to be La Serena. Coquimbo in the foreground, and in the distance, distante es La Serena. There's the bay,
And the port.
view. The port. Some tall buildings.
¿Verdad? ¿Cómo se?
Oh, it's a beautiful bay. It's almost completely surrounded. Look at that. Some nice mountains in the distance. We're going to be swinging down for a quick tour right to the water's edge before we start heading inland towards the Andes Mountains. This is not La Serena here, or is it
No, it's Coquimbo.
Coquito? Okay. But they seem to be pretty much one
Coquimbo
community.
es como
Yes.
Valparaíso.
Coquimbo.
Más popular, más puerto. Serena es como más viña.
Ah,
Did you get that?
yeah, I did catch that. It was very clear. So here we are at El Centro. Okay, so there's the port of Coquino.
Mañana podemos venir a otro día, por favor. Hay un lobo marino ahí.
It's a sea lion.
Coquimbo, puerto. Y esto se llama Avenida del Mar. Y conecta Coquimbo inmediatamente con Serena.
En route to a pass above La Serena that will lead towards the Elqui Valley. How long do you think it will take to get there?
1.5 hours to our destination.
Okay.
Yes.
But anyway, we're already beginning to rise up into the hills inland.
Yes.
And down below us, behind us, more or less in the direction of the sunset, is La Serena, a town of the first world quality. And now we're traveling slightly uphill. We're heading towards a pass that will lead down to the valley. View of the terrain to the south. There's no plantations here, however. We can now begin to see the snows of the Andes themselves, and I can see them clearly in the camera. But that's definitely not a cloud. Over a reservoir by the dam that's further up, further to the west. The sun is rapidly setting, perhaps has already set. Here we get a view of the terrain that we're going to pass through on our way to the valley. In the distance, you can see mountains of the Andes. Take a right here at Vicuña, and that will lead out to the Valle Elqui. We are on the Ruta de las Estrellas. Last year we were on the Ruta de Extraterrestrial in Nevada. This year on the Ruta de Estrellas. Now heading south. This is the last route we need to follow to get to Elqui Valley. This is out of the town of Vicuña. Distance is the lower valley. We actually have entered the Elqui Valley. Many of the buildings all have astro-sensitive amber lights on them. Presumably they have caps. So those of us who appreciate a good dark sky would not have extraneous light pollution going up into any thin clouds in the higher atmosphere, which could cause a loss of transparency. This is our first view of our room here in Elqui Valley by daylight. We got here probably around 10 o'clock. If we had entered the Casa Mirador by day, this is how we would have come in. This photograph on the wall, it's got a little reflection on it. But if this is the valley that we're in, the Elqui Valley, at one time it was not nearly as green as it is now. If I were doing a still photograph right now, this would be a very spectacular view. Into the vineyards below. Impeccable. They've laid out a nice postal desayuno for us here. We'll be sharing it with Kathy and
Here's the
Edison.
orange juice they were squeezing this morning.
There you go. Fresh squeezed right off the tree.
God, this smells good. Good morning.
Good morning, Kathy.
How are you? Gravy.
Good. Yes.
Vamos a ir a Alcohuas, a Orcon, que queda hacia los Andes.
That's where we are going today.
Vamos a aprovechar que
Up
Because the day
deeper.
is beautiful, we're gonna go up the mountain.
Up deeper into the
sol,
mountain.
buena temperatura y vamos a subir.
Muy bueno. I actually got out with a camera around 8:30 and walked around the building. entirely different view of the Andes here. We're looking north. The earlier view is more or less south and east. Appears to be a small, very small plaquita here, overlooking vineyards to the right. Clearly some construction going on down below here, just behind the bus stop.
Nuevo cuento.
Nuevo cuento.
Sí.
A ver, cuento.
Last night when we went to bed,
Cuando se acostaron anoche,
the bed was.
la cama estaba así, se colchón.
So, yeah. Took off the mattress.
Sacó el colchón y miró la madera que había.
¿Ya?
He'll just say, I did an edit.
Él arregló la madera que estaba debajo porque estaba un poco rota. Y luego dijo, yo soy un edit.
Muy bien.
This is art.
Elqui.
Pisco?
Pisco. Paraguano.
Narrow little road. This is where all the buses come to.
Turista.
Turista,
Mucha
see?
extranjero.
Now we're heading into another part of El Centro.
Va a hacer frío para arriba.
Taking a left off the main road we came down
Ya lo siento.
from Vicuna by way up. We've been on an unimproved road for quite a while now, probably for the last 3 or 4, 5 kilometers. The road just keeps getting narrower and narrower. Any approaching vehicles, you have to navigate safely in order to get around. Somebody has to come to a stop. We're still on the Ruta de las Reyes. Clearly, one of the best ways to get around here is by horse. And frankly, the only way that people are known to cross the Andes at this point are by either on foot or by horse, because the road becomes practically intractable with altitude. Hola! Hola, Alcahuas! Yep, indigenous. Local punks. We're clearly on the hillsides now, climbing out of the valley. Little town, Alcahuas. Alcahuas! That's not Alcahuas there. Agua. Here is some alternative cabañas. This is supposed to be a healing center. Folks come up here for that purpose. I'm also seeing a dome. This sign, La Frontera, definitely tells you from here on out, this is not Kansas anymore. I'm entering the grounds, the restaurante, and La Ciela. We have a look inside the restaurante, associated with the observatory and the cabanas. A bar, dinner tables, and a cocina. I've asked if I can see the inside of the observatory, and La Senora went to see if there's someone who can open it up. So as I leave the restaurante El Cielo, I'm talking to Marco. We both talked about the eclipse last year in Del Norte, and the fact that one's coming this way to South America in a couple of years.
Now this is the end of the road, and here's the gate. Campagna. And the story to this is the locals? Is that right?
The locals control the gate. You have to get special permission and someone to unlock the gate. And only horses, you can see the droppings, only horses are allowed to go up this road. And I think Edison will give us a little more information than that.
So is this the end of the road for us too?
This is the end of the road for us too, yes. They closed it. ¿Cuándo lo cerraron?
En el año 93, 1993.
Yeah, in 93 they closed the road because tourists would destroy a lot over there. So the valley has 320 owners, landowners.
52,000.
Beyond that gate,
No, the valley.
back below, okay.
That's still the valley.
Right.
And they built a community to protect what they have here.
Okay, so the land is owned by these local people, not
Yes.
the government.
Yes.
And they let their animals live free and wild
In there, yes.
in there.
That's
Edison just said that the snow line up there along the Andes is at about 3,500 meters. And I would say that's probably somewhere 12,000 feet up. Of course, the mountain peaks are higher, maybe as high as 14. And we know the Andes stretch on beyond that and rise as high as 22,000 feet. Higher than any point in North America, even including Mount Denali.
La nube como pasa por la nieve arriba.
So we learned these facts Eddie learned these facts from the owner of the cabañas, the hostel where we're staying.
he's one of the owners of landowners, one of the 320 that live here.
And he has
So-
one of the 320 keys.
Yes.
One of the keys, yes. This here is a sign, Ley de la Cordillera. That means these are the laws for the people that are allowed to go in. The laws are the rules. And they're not for the tourists, as tourists have no entrance whatsoever. But they set this area up for the tourists that do come. And here's if you come up to picnic, this is traditional Chilean food, which is the barbecue. So they have this barbecue here for whoever wants to come.
Just as we return back down the valley, there's this lovely little cascade. You can hear the waters sloshing back and forth down there. Obviously the source of the waters is the Andes. We're on our way back to the hostel, and here's a little iglesias, church, in the last town we passed through before you end up going out into the country at Alcoez. Probably a continuation of the very cascades that we filmed further up.
Lugar donde también se cultiva la viña, no es un lugar grande, al contrario, solamente una huella del camino que va a tener una buena visión
Yeah.
de un poco del valle, ¿no?
We're just going up a little road just to have a better view of the valley. And there's also lots of wine, viñas. And so it's not a big place or something, it's just to have a great view.
Even higher view of the valley off to the right. We're traveling a fairly precarious, unimproved road right along the flanks of the hills. And Eddie's bringing us up here because he wanted us to be able to share this view, magnificent view.
Oh, there's that church.
Vanessa sees the church down below. And we noticed in the map of the area that it was shaped like a horn. So this part of the valley, going up here, is probably heading north again, potentially. So there may be, but directions are a little complicated here.
The wind is blowing, but it's, I'd say, in the 70s. And the air is not too cold.
About as far up this road as we're going to go before we return to the coastal. And Eddie was saying this land up ahead of us is now private, and there's a lago or lake up there. We encountered a caballero riding up the road.
A niño.
A niño. This fine fellow riding his mountain bike up the same road we were just coming down. He stopped and did some stretching, and we started talking. We asked him if he was from around this area. He said yes, but he's from all over Chile. He travels all over Chile. It's one final journey of exploration with Kathy and Edison before they depart a salir their casa, cabana, and Concon. Adios! We'll miss you! I know I would take her too! This is the view we did not get because we rolled in about 10 o'clock.
Yesterday we went south.
We went south.
Going north.
Today we go north. See?
When everything else is turned around.
Yeah, because we're on the wrong hemisphere, or maybe we're on the right hemisphere. Well, we're on the left.
Other hemisphere.
We're on the bottom or we're on the top. We don't know anymore. Our heads are completely espinado. Just took a right turn. Had a short road, about 19 kilometers. There's a town at the end of it. I suspect that's where we'll be heading for today. We're now crossing a much broader stream than we saw yesterday. You can see all the terraces.
Oh, wine and pisco.
And raisins.
Oh, raisins.
Pasas.
They were delicious, those
Yeah.
sun-dried raisins we bought.
It was just explained that this river, Rio, is called Rio Mágico. You can feel the magic here. We're entering a town?
Yes. Cochiguas.
Vamos al norte,
Now we're going north again.
Ah,
noreste.
Northeast. Northeast.
camping? Ganymedes, camping Cochiguas. But the sign says basically the camping area is 1 kilometer from here, which is about 2/3 of a mile. You can see now we're heading up towards the pass. Once again with a looming Andes peak distance. Across this bridge. If it falls apart, Eddie can fix it, right? Restaurante La Granja. La Granja. So if you stay at the campground, you can go and get prepared food.
Yes.
Capilla.
A chapel.
There's a capella, you see? Chapel. So basically, Vanessa wanted to stop for a drink.
And we don't even have to get out of the car. Okay. Oh, it's fresca.
Fresca agua. This, as you can see, is the end of the road. However, we collectively decided a little walk, caminar, would be very nice. Little sign, El Empedrado. However, it appears that it's okay to at least walk along the road. For the longest time, we've been walking this road, and there's been a fence on the border. Meanwhile, just as we crossed the barrier of the fence, we heard this wonderful singing of Rio Magico.
And we noticed the trees up here, the weeping willows, and there's a big weeping willow.
And the riparian corridor. Oh, I see it. Magnificent willow. Whenever you hike and there's a trail or a road, it's always interesting to cast your imagination ahead and say, gee, I wonder what we'll see around that bend. Some caballeros. Hola, caballeros! Ooh. Yeah. Hola! Hola, caballeros! Hola!
Ya voy a seguir en Nueva York hoy día.
Hola! Un perro, cabello, and caballeros. Hola! Hola!
Hola!
Hola! Ciao! So as we walk along, looking at the neighboring hillside, you can see variations in the textures and the colors. The whites are probably calcates, the reds are ferrites. I was noticing how eroded the hillside is here, and how it contributed to all the rocks along the trail, and more rocks descending down towards the valley below. A bit of stone art. after a nice gentle walk along the upper, we believe, Valle Elqui, which stretches out and eventually boxes up over there. We've now returned to the place of the fence and are ready for new adventures over the next week as we continue our travels in Chile. Nosotros, amigos. Those of you watching this video may think that Vanessa and I, who traveled as far as Mount Denali in Alaska this year and as far south as Valparaiso in South America, do a good deal of traveling. But let me tell you what, the ultimate world traveler is right before you. This water flowing off the Andes has circled the planet perhaps millions of times, evaporating into the air, forming clouds, precipitating in the heights, falling to earth again, and then taking its place once again upon the land to flow under the influence of gravity, down, 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 as it is here, until it once again reaches the sea, or evaporates along the way, to once again begin its journey throughout this magnificent planet of ours. The ultimate world traveler.